In the heart of New York City, among the towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, stood an upscale store named Prestige Boutique. Known for its high-end fashion and exclusive clientele, the store prided itself on its image of sophistication and class. The owner, Michael Collins, rarely visited the shop, leaving its day-to-day operations in the hands of his ambitious and arrogant manager, Ethan Carter. One cold afternoon, an elderly black man entered Prestige Boutique. His name was James Edwards, and he wore a simple black coat, scuffed shoes, and carried a worn leather satchel. Despite his humble appearance, there was an air of quiet confidence about him. James stepped into the store, looking around at the luxurious displays of designer clothing, shoes, and accessories. The soft chime of the door caught Ethan's attention. He glanced up, his practiced smile quickly fading as he assessed James's modest attire. Ethan strode over, his posture stiff and unwelcoming. "Can I help you?" he asked, his tone clipped. James smiled warmly. "I'm here to look around. This is my son's store, and I've been curious about what he's built." Ethan chuckled mockingly. "Your son's store? That's an interesting story. But unless you're here to make a purchase, I suggest you leave. This isn't the kind of place for sightseeing." James's expression remained calm, though there was a flicker of sadness in his eyes. "I didn't mean to cause trouble. I'd just like to see what's on display." Ethan's patience snapped. "Sir, this is an exclusive store for serious buyers. You clearly don't belong here." Without waiting for a response, he grabbed James's arm and forcibly ushered him toward the door. James stumbled slightly but regained his footing. Standing outside, he turned back and said softly, "You'll regret judging people by their appearance one day." Later that evening, Michael Collins arrived for an unannounced visit to Prestige Boutique. The staff greeted him warmly, though Ethan was noticeably nervous. "Everything's running smoothly, sir," Ethan said, flashing his best smile. Michael nodded, glancing around. "Good to hear. Anything unusual happened today?" Ethan hesitated. "Nothing major. Just an old man wandered in earlier, claiming this was his son's store. I handled it, of course." Michael froze. "An old man? Black, wearing a black coat?" "Yes," Ethan replied, confused. "Why?" Michael's face darkened. "That man is my father." Ethan's smug expression evaporated. Your father? But he couldn't possibly. Michael didn't wait for an explanation. "Where is he now?" One of the staff members, who had witnessed the incident, spoke up. "He was sitting on the bench outside earlier, sir." Michael rushed out of the store and found James sitting on a nearby bench, gazing at the city lights. "Dad," Michael said, kneeling in front of him. "I'm so sorry. I had no idea you came by. Please forgive me." James looked at his son, his expression softening. "Michael, I'm not upset with you. But the man you trust to run your store, he humiliated me because of how I looked. Is that the kind of treatment your customers get?" Michael felt a pang of guilt. Prestige Boutique was supposed to reflect the values his father had taught him: hard work, humility, and respect for everyone. Somewhere along the way, those values had been overshadowed by the pursuit of wealth and status. The next morning, Michael called an emergency staff meeting. In front of everyone, he addressed Ethan. "My father taught me that people should be treated with respect, no matter who they are or how they look. You failed that test yesterday. You're fired." Turning to the rest of the staff, Michael continued, "This store will not stand for arrogance or prejudice. Prestige isn't just about luxury, it's about the dignity we offer to every person who walks through those doors." From that day forward, Prestige Boutique became a symbol of inclusivity and respect. Michael made sure his father was a frequent guest, often seen sitting in the store's lounge, sharing stories and wisdom with customers and staff alike. As for Ethan, he left in disgrace, haunted by the realization that he had let his own prejudices cost him everything. Meanwhile, James's quiet strength served as a reminder that true worth is never defined by outward appearances. As the days passed, Prestige Boutique underwent a transformation, not just in policy but in spirit. Michael made it a point to include his father, James Edwards, in the store's journey forward. James's calm demeanor and life experiences became a cornerstone of the store's renewed image. Michael decided to launch a new campaign for Prestige Boutique, aptly named True Elegance, Beyond Appearance. The campaign celebrated diversity and authenticity, featuring real people from all walks of life: an artist, a teacher, a construction worker, and even a retired veteran. James became the face of the campaign, his portrait displayed in the store with the tagline, "Elegance is not what you wear but who you are." The campaign was a hit. Customers resonated with its message, and Prestige Boutique began attracting a broader audience, including those who had previously felt out of place in its luxurious setting. The store's sales soared, but more importantly, its reputation as a symbol of respect and inclusivity grew. One day, a young man walked into the store, hesitant but determined. He wore a simple hoodie and jeans, his nervous hands clutching a folded piece of paper. He approached the counter and asked to see Michael. Michael stepped out of his office and greeted the man warmly. "How can I help you?" The young man unfolded the paper, revealing an old newspaper clipping featuring Prestige Boutique's new campaign. "I saw this and wanted to say, thank you. People like me don't usually feel welcome in places like this. Seeing someone like Mr. Edwards in the spotlight gave me the courage to walk in." Michael smiled and offered the man a seat. "What's your name?" "Daniel," he replied. "Daniel, my father always says, every person has a story worth telling. What's yours?" As they talked, James entered the store. He immediately gravitated toward Daniel, listening intently as the young man shared his struggles of growing up in poverty and feeling excluded from opportunities. By the end of the conversation, Michael and James were inspired. They decided to create a new initiative called Second Chances, offering internships, mentorships, and resources to individuals like Daniel who needed a chance to find their footing in life. The program became another success story for Prestige Boutique. Many interns went on to secure jobs, not just at the boutique but in various fields, becoming ambassadors of the values the store now stood for. Meanwhile, Ethan's life had taken a different turn. After leaving Prestige Boutique, he struggled to find a position in a competitive market where his reputation for arrogance preceded him. One day, he passed by Prestige Boutique and saw James talking to a group of young interns. Ethan hesitated, guilt gnawing at him, before walking inside. James noticed him immediately. "Ethan," he said, his voice calm but firm. "What brings you here?" Ethan lowered his gaze. "I wanted to apologize, Mr. Edwards. I judged you unfairly, and it cost me everything. I've learned my lesson, and I'm sorry for how I treated you." James studied him for a moment before nodding. "Everyone deserves a second chance, Ethan. But remember, apologies are just words unless followed by actions." Moved by James's wisdom, Ethan volunteered to join the Second Chances program, not as a leader but as a participant. He worked hard, learning humility and empathy along the way. Over time, he rebuilt his career, this time guided by the lessons he had learned. As the years passed, Prestige Boutique became more than a store, it was a community. And at its heart was James Edwards, the man who reminded everyone that true elegance shines from within.